Barrios?
Yes, thank you. So before we get into the question and answer, I just wanted to review a couple of things that tend to often get lost in these kinds of discussions. Okay, first of all, there is a specific zoning that applies to the properties in question. That zoning is currently C2C. C2C is just a code that is given to a plot, and that code is associated with certain kinds of development that can happen on that plot. If a developer builds on a plot, I'm purely talking from a zoning perspective here, not Height Act or anything else, okay? Purely from a zoning perspective, if a developer builds what is described for that zoning on that plot, that is called matter of right development, okay? What that means is that they do not need to get a zoning change, and the community does not have the same opportunity to provide input as they would for a zoning change. Okay? This is a matter of right development. At least that's the way that is being presented. Okay? Where there is a zoning change, the most recent example that everybody knows is 901 Monroe. Okay? The developer was looking for a C2B zone, which was different from the zoning that applied there. That allowed for a whole lot of legal process to occur, okay, because there is a whole process that happens with the zoning commission prior to that zoning change, and the developer has to prove and demonstrate certain things in order to be able to get that designation. Okay? So I just wanted to kind of put that out there as the foundation, okay, that this is being called a matter of right development. All right? So we're going to open the floor for questions and answers. I actually have a couple that I would like to start off with if I beg the community's indulgence. And then if you would please wait to be called upon so that we make sure that we get through everybody's questions, okay? Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of them, okay? All right, so question number one. It was something that was actually asked of me a few minutes ago. The current zone is C2C. Do you know how long that has been zoned C2C?
I do not.
September 2012.
Okay.
It was changed, and that was my question. Sorry to interrupt, but it was changed, and the community, as far as I know, was not notified of that change.
And did that happen at the same time as the rezone? I think the same thing happened for the Channing Place development.
I was just looking up this one, and it's really incredibly small on my phone.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
It was formerly CM2.
Which is industrial.
Which is industrial with a 4-story height limit, I believe.
So that organization got the Old Town Trolley, which was CM2 at the time.
So it was at one point one thing, and in August 2012 is when you said, appears to have changed to something else. Now, September of 2012. Okay. There is an established process that the city has, okay, for notification, primarily through the ANCs, okay, but they also provide notice in the DC Register for when these kinds of zoning changes occur. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. It was a different ANC commissioner, and it was prior to the rezoning of the ANCs. So I can work with the previous commissioner and see if if we can get some more answers. But whatever the answer might be, the zoning happened. Okay, so it's currently C2C. Now the next question is: I looked up the summary for C2C, and first of all, the maximum height appears to be 90 feet. Okay, for C2C, with a maximum FAR of 6. So how is it that you are building up to 110 feet and 6.6 FAR and saying that 7.2 FAR is possible?
Joe, what's FAR?
Floor area ratio, which you probably explained.
Well, I know the answer, yeah. Again, it's a number of floors you've stacked up. It's considered as if they were distributed equally over the whole property.
So the short answer is that the inclusionary zoning provisions allow for additional density where there's commitment to affordable housing as a part of a private project.
So you're going to be providing some additional affordable units, okay, and at what level of affordability?
I don't have that answer for you today, but we can get that to you.
Okay.
Percentage?
It would be 10%, right? 10% affordable?
10%.
10%.
Sorry?
10%
30% is when we have, when we're working with city-owned properties. It can be up to 30%. Even that is rare. You don't see that too often.
So you were saying 10%? Is that
It-
what you're saying? It's 10%.
Let me get back.
The typical inclusionary zoning standard is that
And I don't
10% of
know-
the total number of units would be affordable, and then what I'm not sure is if there's a default percentage of what's called area median income. In other words, is it 50 or, 50% of area median income, meaning that if you make about $50,000 a year or more, or less, rather, you would qualify, right? As opposed to deep affordability, which would be something like 30%, okay? That's one thing that he's gonna have to get back to us, because we don't know how deep affordable we're talking about in terms of affordable housing. But we're talking about 37 to 40 units that would be listed as affordable under those rules.
And please bear in mind also that there's going in at 6.6 and not 7.2. So what I don't know, that very well could be a nuance in terms of the overall percentage of affordable.
My next question is with regards to the setbacks, and for folks who are not, accustomed to the day-to-day zoning lingo, a setback is essentially where the building starts. It's not like the whole building is a flat wall, but they kind of do a stair step. Okay, that's called a setback. So, how many floors would be the first part of your setback under your plan?
On Evarts, which is where there's some setback, we're talking, and I had to really look at it earlier, but there is, I'll tell you what the height is on that, the proposed height on that is. But, I mean, the idea is that it's probably somewhere between 2 and 3 stories, and then it scales up from there. So it's to try to bring down the building facade down toward the houses on 10, and then set them back.
So the first part of the building you would touch would be 2 to 3 stories to start. Okay, and then how deep back would it go before you went the next step up?
So along the alleyway,
Yes.
the intensity alleyway. So that, right now, the windows are not showing that those are set back. Okay. The developer's proposing to provide an additional 4 feet of easement in the alleyway. So you have a 20-foot easement between the property lines of the homeowners on 10th Street and the beginning of the building.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Today it's currently 16, so it's.
So it would be an extra 4 feet.
A whole 4 feet?
4 feet.
That's.
With no setback? I'm sorry.
No setback.
That's not quite the question I was asking. Once you have your let's say your 3-story piece, right? How far back does that 3-story piece go before you get to the rest of the building that goes vertical? In other words,
I can't show you. I can teach you those numbers, but I don't have them.
but do you understand what I'm asking?
I understand what you're saying. You're saying, okay, is it 20 feet, 30 feet?
Yeah, exactly.
Start to seal up.
Exactly.
But to clarify,
And so,
there's
by the way,
10th Street would have 0 setback, just the 4-foot
Well,
easement.
The 4 feet easement.
I know,
Again,
but answer the question. So there is no setback on the 10th Street.
Let me be clear, okay? So part of why we're here is to hear the concerns, okay? And what I'm hoping that happens in this process, if you say, look, we want some setback, then give me that. And so we can take that back. The plans are not final,
Okay.
This is what the developer's proposing. And I can assure you that they are willing to work with the community. So the concern is you don't want to, even with what they propose, the additional 4 feet, you don't want to look out your backyard and look at a 90-foot building without any setbacks, then let's take that back. Okay, so but right now, what is being proposed today is that there would be this 4-foot additional easement in the alleyway to relieve some of the concern about the building being so massive right now.
All right, so it would be an Evarts Street setback, but what about on the 10th Street side, for the homes that are immediately adjacent to 10th Street, those backyards, would there also be a setback there?
Not currently proposed.
Not currently proposed.
And when you say the setback on Reed or Evarts, are you talking the lobby facade or the homes that are backing up to Reed?
I'm talking the homes backing up I'm talking about down, scaling down toward the homes on Evarts. So you've got 901 structure, right? And so the idea is that that would set back
I get
at
that.
some reasonable level. And then,
But you're not answering the alley that you're proposing to close in. Is there a setback there, or is that still the 4-foot easement that you're proposing?
the alley that is being proposed closed.
No, right. So those homes that back up to the alley now, you proposed having a 4-foot easement there. Is that having a setback too, or is
You mean, okay, so the existing alley and then where the building picks up. So no current setbacks on those other than the.
so where the setback would actually help homes? There are no setbacks.
Well,
Okay, all right.
No, I want to clarify. But where is the setback going to be? Only on the front that faces the streets?
so right now, okay, the setback that's proposed is scaling down. So if you've got the homes on Evarts.
I get that. Just this is pretty straightforward. Is it the one that's facing this? It would be. No.
This
It's
is not a
a.
gotcha session. I'm trying to.
It's not a got me. Just answer the question. So the only setback is the setback of the building that would be directly adjacent to the streets.
The setback, okay, as proposed today, and what I've shown.
I think it's a
today-
straightforward
No,
question.
No, let me answer the question. The setback, sir, it is, you got the homes on Evarts. The 901 property would set back off of the homes on Evarts. That's what we're dealing with today.
Only that building.
That's what we're dealing with today.
Okay, so that's clear. Only that building has a
So there would
setback.
be